Classic rock band Chicago played at the PNC Bank Arts Center in Homedale this week. Thursday's concert was the first since the shutdown. Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. America's workplaces are changing. Because of the pandemic, some people were forced to make a spare bedroom an office or turn a family room into a TV studio like the one I'm in right now. Many people are returning to work now, and they're ready for that. But as Kimberly Kravitz reports, others are content to stay home. Kimberly.
Returning to the workplace has been slow for many and non-existent for others. A recent poll out of Fairleigh Dickinson University reports that half of New Jersey's workforce started the pandemic working from home, and 25% of that number may never return to their workplace ever again.
So we have a lot of people here in New Jersey who say it's great. They don't want to go back to work.
New Jersey was under the assumption that at the start of COVID, we would work from home for a couple of weeks to bend the curve. But weeks turned into 16 months. For many, like Ralph FLORIO, it saved him tons of money.
For me, I've been saving a lot of money working from home. But CEOs are saying, well, we have this huge lease that costs crazy money and are reluctant to give up the space because they can't get out of the lease.
Just like this landlord who pays big money for a lease, only for their employees to work remotely.
That kills my part of my business, my real estate. All my office buildings will not make money because everybody will start working at home. All the office buildings is going to go down. Nobody's going to rent office space.
The poll also finds a significant difference between Democrats and Republicans. About half of Republicans say they want to go back into work full time, compared to 20% of Democrats. The poll also shows how mass transit is greatly impacted by the stay at home.
Remember, in New Jersey, our mass transit is funded about 40% by ticket sales and about 60% by the state. So if we find that a quarter of the people who are currently working from home are never going back, that's more than 10%, almost 15% of all the people in New Jersey. If you went to New Jersey Transit today and said, hey, you're going to lose 10% of the people riding the buses and trains, they would be in crisis mode.
Then there are the essential workers that stayed in the workplace the entire time, like this funeral director who tells me it was incredibly painful.
Our staff, we never stopped. Our industry was on overload. You know, the numbers of deaths were, they increased quite a bit. Very rewarding industry, but during the pandemic, not much reward. For some, staying at home was simply not an option.
Well, I work based off of tips and commissions, so if I don't work, I don't make money, you know what I mean? So I was lucky enough to collect like the PUA assistance, but as soon as I can go back, I went back.
Oh, completely grateful. So grateful that I had a job, so grateful that we're able to still work with people, deal with people. I still have my clients with Century 21, Action Plus Realty, that need to sell their home. We're always safe, but you always worry. And then I have 4 kids, so you always worry about your kids and anything going to work and coming back home.
And then there are the hardworking people that are furious about those taking advantage of the system.
It really created a lot of laziness in this country, which makes me angry as a blue-collar worker because I'm working my fingers to the bone. But a lot of my benefits are paying for other people's benefits. You know, people that are taking advantage of the system. They're making more money than they've ever made before. What's the incentive to go back to work? Why would you do that?
It seems there is a bit of a disconnect between employees and employers when it comes to life after the pandemic.
Companies that don't allow for at least flexibility or a hybrid workforce going forward are going to be the ones left behind. You're just going to get better quality of workers, better quality of life.
The Fairleigh Dickinson poll says that 55% of men, as opposed to 48% of women, will return to the workplace by the end of the year. Reporting for Jersey Matters, I'm Kimberly Kravitz.